the challenges ahead for a wider adoption and monitoring of artificial intelligence, machine learning uses in hospital and clinical settings?
Yeah, I think one of the biggest questions is, well, how was this data collected? Was it collected in an ethical way with all the right permissions? Has the data good quality? Has it, let's say, with camera quality, and that the annotation of it is leads to the good training of the algorithms? Has it been validated independently with data that has not been known to the developer? Because one thing is, I tell you, okay, you train with this data, you do an algorithm that does excellently well with that data, and then, but then is it generalizable? Can I use it with any other set of data? Do you perform just as well? So we have this concept of public data for training and private data for testing, so that private data no one sees. So give us a hint of the how generalizable that algorithm would be. But we need to make sure that, for example, this training data doesn't have biases. Let's say it was trained. Let's take the dermatology case. It's very easy to understand. So people with a clear skin, with dark skin, they have different issues on how the skin marks could be detected and diagnosed as something harmful, or you need to have those covered within the testing base. So this is a very simple example of a bias that could be seen, that you could have it from a subset of population and then make the algorithm not suitable for make it generalized the use of it within a larger population. So these are some of the topics that need to be addressed in terms of the data. And then using in different hospitals, we have issues of data protection, that the digital records installed and they are using those, but they have many difficulties with sharing that data from ethical perspective, from a legal perspective, from data privacy aspect. I mean, each jurisdiction has different rules. Many times that you require, let's say, a solution developer to have a special agreement with a particular hospital to tap into the data in that hospital. I just want to mention the difficulty, because if you have, let's say, two hospitals in the same country, right? You have an agreement with this hospital, and then you do an agreement with the other hospital. You have a burden there. So for the small developers, it becomes difficult to have access to that. Let's say that they do that. And then this hospital has a system A, and then it has a system B, and the data is not compatible. So they needed to go in and manipulate that data so that they can be used within their own framework. So there are a number of issues of data interoperability, data annotation, touch the legal aspects. That's just a basic, let's say, data quality and data access perspective. Of course, there is then later on what they do with their machine learning, whether it's any good or not, whether they have a good benchmarking. Plus, is there any clinical relevance to the use of that tool? Would that tool deliver better results than let's say a clinician that is not an expert on the field, than a nurse that was trained, a nurse that was not trained, but tried to, let's say, with very basic knowledge, try to triage the person to go to see a particular expert, to trigger cases that would require immediate intervention. So this aspect of clinical relevance of a tool also need to be assessed, and these are all independent of that access to the data. So it's a very big problem, and we're trying to give this. We're trying to give a small contribution there, which is this framework for accessibility for the benchmark, so that it can be compared in similar way, and hopefully can help facilitate the adoption of the technology overall. So we are now, as I said, gearing with the end of the life of the group in view to prepare some of the deliverables. So we have several documents that address data issues, the data quality, data acquisition, clinical relevance, the regulatory considerations, ethical considerations, and have some running code also developed to facilitate implementers to implement and test with it. So we are now in a very early stage of developing this code platform. And I did not say, but the ITU focus groups, ITU WTO focus groups, they are open groups. So any experts that are interested to contribute, they can join. You don't need to be, let's say, accredited under a particular membership status. You just need to if you have conflicts of interest, to disclose those. But people are welcome to come and join. We have currently 21 open use cases. So the use cases are like the diabetic retinopathy case, the dermatology case. These are some of the 21 cases that we're exploring that will give us how to structure this framework so that could be extended to other use cases. So this is kind of the...
So politicians, members of parliament, members of the European Parliament, private sector actors could come and participate in these meetings, in these working groups.
They could, yes, they could. They are more than welcome to come and bring their perspectives. We have these policy more geared groups, but we are also open, and also particularly to companies developing solutions.
Yes, exciting things coming ahead, right, in terms of diagnostics and early detection and so on. So many great aspects of using AI and machine learning in clinical settings.
People should not think this is a developing country issue. Sometimes people think, oh, this is because developing countries don't have doctors. It's true that the number of, let's say, radiologists in certain countries in Africa is 1 per million, so that order of magnitude, one technician per million inhabitants. But if you try to, here in Geneva, if you try to get an appointment with a dermatologist, it will be at least 6 months. So how about if you have these AI tools and help say, well, don't worry about that skin mark, there is nothing. Oh, I think you should put some priority in seeing a doctor. If you have a tool that would help someone, let's say, oh, I have something I should really check, would already know help and go because and have a priority in the queue to see the dermatologist. So even Geneva has good uses for that. We are not forming enough professionals in all the countries that are needed to cope with the demand. So AI is a helper. It's not. They're not going to. You're not going to go to be scanned and say, "This is your solution. This is your diagnosis. You're out. You go and do this and that treatment." AI is not that. There are lots of things that are involved into making a treatment decision.
Thank you so much, Simão. It's a pleasure speaking with you, and I look forward to finding out more of what's coming up in the next meetings and so on. Thank you very much.
We plan to meet next in April, and as I said, it is an open group. Participation from all the experts is welcome, and all the details are on our website. And